Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout as we look ahead to the latest team news and lineup developments ahead of Game Week 16. My name is Joe and as ever I'm joined by Fantasy Football Scout's editor Neale. Neale, welcome. How are you?
Good, Joe. Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, good. All fine. And I'm really excited to make a Bournemouth defensive transfer into my team. It's all go.
I'm 1 week ahead of you. I did it last week. I got Huyson in, the
Listen,
4.3 here. Yeah.
I'm going to call him Howson because then I
Howson,
can
is that
then I
what
can
you...
then I can pretend he's part of a Smith song, and
You'd probably,
Howson
yes,
is
you
now
could.
for me.
You'd
Okay,
probably be right as well. I don't actually know the
I
pronunciation.
don't know. He's new to us all, really. He's the tall teenager from Juventus that occasionally has scored. And so, yeah, I think I'll be getting him in as well. Welcome to those joining us in the live chat. Alan, Joe, boys, who hopefully I've averted from making an early transfer. Tiger, Brian, Helen, who's appearing in the live chat for the first time. Rodrev, James, Shaft and Knackers, J77, Lag, Referee Rick, Matthew, and many more. Thanks for joining us. Do press that like button. It does help us out. And if you're listening to the podcast version, do leave us a lovely 5-star review. Also, do remember to subscribe to us on YouTube for our videos and also wherever you receive your podcasts as well. Oh, FPL Yellow Army, Johnny, and FPL Lard have just joined us in the live chat. We can commence now. Let's go. Let's start. It's 3:00 kickoff on Saturday, so no lunchtime game on Saturday, and we'll start with Arsenal because it's alphabetical if they're all at the same time. Arsenal, what's the latest from Arsenal? And this is probably the headline news, really. What's the latest from
Yeah.
Gabriel?
Yeah, good place to start this. Everyone's probably tuning in for this update. Positive if you choose to believe Arteta at face value. He was asked about Gabriel and Calafiori, who've been absent recently, and he said there is a possibility for one of them to be available. And this person trained today, and we will see tomorrow. He was then asked if it was Gabriel, very quietly by somebody in the room, the press conference,
Yeah,
and
was
he
it
sort of
you?
said yes, but he's yeah. I wish if fantasy football's going to fund me to go into the press
Neale,
conference, I will
Fancy Football
happily apply.
Scout, are you lying?
Should I bring you into my team this week? Yeah. He seemed to say yes to the question if it was Gabriel, and then to further that suggestion, he then talked about Calafiori still being out. So it's
Oh,
by process of elimination, it's
okay,
Gabriel.
rightio.
So it sounds like he's close, although of course Arteta loves to play games, so he do not be surprised if he still doesn't play.
Okay,
With Calafiori, he said they're respecting the timeline that the medical department has set, and then they're monitoring him every day, but he's not ready yet, not
okay,
fully ready yet. He then went on to say that the others who were out, so that's Zinchenko, White, and Tomiyasu, they're still sidelined as well.
okay, rightio. Well, yeah, I've got Gabriel. He's not going anywhere, and
Nope. Same.
I've got Mikolenko already waiting to come in if Gabriel's not fit. But yeah, I'm sure he is. Hopefully. As for Everton, what's the latest there?
Yeah, one of 6 press conferences from yesterday. Nothing much has changed. They've actually been a full week or more than a full week without a game because of the postponement last weekend. In that time, they've got Michael Keane back from an knee injury, so he's fit. They've had a kickabout as well, a little behind closed doors game, and Chimiti's been a part of that again. He has been out all season, so he's nearly back. So that just leaves Garner and Eric Bonham on the sidelines.
Okay, rightio. Let's move on then. There was nothing. I mean, I was focusing on Gabriel and Calafiori there. There was nothing else from Arsenal, was there? Before we move on.
Well, no, I did. I sort of rounded up the rest, and I did say there was nobody else out who wasn't already out, so I don't think there's any fresh
Okay.
concerns.
Rightio. Okay. Harry says in the live chat, remember, do the opposite of what Arteta says in the presser. That would be handy if he actually said anything that was one way or the other. He sits on the fence for almost everything, so we don't know.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah, if he does say it's a possibility, then maybe it's a slim possibility.
Yeah,
Who knows?
yeah. He's probably just saying that anyway. Liverpool against Fulham. Could be some troops back for Arne Slot, who's the manager of the month, Premier League manager of the month this week.
Yeah, he could get 2 of his front 6 back. We haven't seen either of these for a long time. Chiesa and Diogo Jota, they've been back in training this week. Chiesa's been actually for a little bit longer. He played for the under-21s last week, and then he got ill and he couldn't feature against Girona on Tuesday. But both have trained since, and they could be available. Obviously, we're talking bench duty at first. And Slot said he'd probably give Chiesa some minutes in the EFL Cup instead. So that's good for Salah. If Salah could get a lovely little rest there in the EFL Cup next week, and then Chiesa gets his little run out, and then Salah comes back in for Christmas. Elsewhere, it's just Kanate, Bradley, and Simicas who are out. Simicas has trained a little bit. I
Yeah.
think he's been on the grass, but I think this might be too soon. McAllister's banned. Yellow card accumulation was going to be last weekend, but it was postponed. And Allison, as you will have seen already, is back. He
Yeah.
returned on Tuesday, straight between the sticks, and he'll keep his place.
Right, yeah. And as for Fulham as well now, so I'm a lot of people considering captaining Salah over Palmer or Palmer over Salah. And one of the factors in those in the Salah camp is that there are a lot of defensive absentees at Fulham. What is the latest? What's the picture there for them?
Yeah, there's two. The key, they're both first choice centre halves, basically. Anderson, we know, is already out. He's close, but he's not going to be back for this one.
Hmm.
Bassi is actually suspended, so he was one of the few who got booked for the fifth time last weekend. So he's suspended for this one. So yeah, two backup centre halves for Fulham, which again, as you said there, furthers Salah's cause. Elsewhere, it's a final game of Kearney, 3-game ban. Harrison Reed still injured, and Reece Nelson, who had looked all right actually since he's come in,
Mm.
he's now going to be out for 10 weeks with
Ah.
a hamstring injury.
Mm.
So if you subscribe to the belief that Nelson in the team is bad for Jimenez because he shoots too much and
Yeah.
doesn't provide him with service, then this is good news for Raul.
Oh, rightio. Okay, then. So, yeah, lots of developments there. Newcastle against Leicester. Isak is going to get a lot of minutes, even more than we thought he would, I would imagine, because Callum Wilson is out again.
He sure is. Not for the first time, even this month, that he's picked up something new. He's going to be out for 8 weeks. Eddie Howe thinks. So yeah, it'll see Isaac through this Christmas period. Elsewhere, Willock, he missed out in game week 15. He hasn't trained since. He's making progress, as how. Probably more pertinent of an injury update is Nick Pope. So he has picked up a knee injury.
Oh.
They thought it was nothing. He's seen a specialist, and that's how Howe left it this morning.
Hmm.
But I've seen since then in the Athletic that it's going to be a month out for Pope. So in
Oh.
comes
Dubravka.
Dubravka probably for the next 7 or 8 game weeks because we're going to get a lot over Christmas. Elsewhere, Lascelles is out, Botman's out, Kraft's still out. These are all long-term ones, but Botman is in training, and the plan is for late December or very early January for him to be actually
Okay.
in the first team.
Rightio. Okay, so it could be some defensive changes there. Suddenly, Dubravka is an option for those who are looking for a goalkeeper, but only one for Christmas, not for the new year. As for Leicester as well, Ruud van Nistelrooy, what's he had to say about his team going into this match?
Yeah, he's got some problems in central midfield. So they are already without, or they were already without Harry Winks. He has trained partly, but Van Nistelrooy said he's still very much doubtful for this one. And they've lost two others. So indeed, he's out for a few weeks with a hamstring injury. And Sumaria is banned, another one for yellow card accumulation. So possibly three central midfielders down for this. They're already without Abdul Fattah and Ricardo Pereira through injury. But they do get Buonanotte back because, of course, he was ineligible to face your lot last weekend.
Okay, rightio. Let's have a look at Wolves against Ipswich. So the good fixture run for Wolves is slowly starting to run out, but it's still
Yep.
in full swing this week. Yeah, what is the home side? What state are they in as Ipswich prepare to visit?
They're probably not going to get Sarabia and Sarr back, by what I've heard from Gary O'Neill. I think he said they won't recover for this one through injuries. Joao Gomez is banned as well, so yet another one who's reached 5 yellow cards. Mascara, Traore, Gonzalez still out. Traore could be back at the end of the month. One other line of notes, if this concerns anybody, Mario Lemina has been stripped of the captaincy after that post-match meltdown, a wobbly through at West Ham.
Oh,
So now it's going to be Nelson Semedo wearing the armband.
okay, rightio. That's interesting. As for Ipswich as well, so I'm going to ask a personal question about Jacob Greaves, but Jacob Greaves is sitting on a number of benches as well.
He is.
Now, I understand that McKenna doesn't like to have centre-back substitutes. So
Yeah.
that's why you don't see him on a bench. That doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
mean that he's injured, but nevertheless, it's unlikely he'll start, I would imagine. So yeah, what is the latest from Ipswich, and what's the latest with that cheap defender slot that some of us are hopefully relying on?
Yeah, injury-wise, it's pretty quiet. McKenna reported no major concerns. He did say there was a bit of illness in the camp, so that could affect one or two. Phillips and Johnson, they are already back actually in game week 14, but they're still managing little niggles, so they're not 100%. And longer term, they've got Twanzebe, Hurst, and Ogbeni out. So on the 4 million defender dilemma, it's centre half. So Burgess had the upper hand while Greaves was out, injured, and kept his place for a little while afterwards. Greaves then returned in game week 14, I think. Had a bit of a
Okay.
stinker against Palace, I think it
Yeah.
was. And then Burgess came in last weekend and did very well, actually. I think McKenna praised him after the game, even though they conceded the two late goals. Uh, so if I was going to guess, and I will have to guess in the predicted lineups, then I would be sticking with Burgess in the lineup, based on how they've performed of late.
Okay.
But I think, as you probably read, Joe, elsewhere, that Greaves is seen longer term as the first choice, and he was brilliant before
Yeah.
he got injured. He's just come back and he's just looked a bit off it, I think.
Okay.
So longer term there is hope, but I think short term, if you're relying on him, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I think he might be the one that goes for me. Rico Lewis could stay on my bench, but yeah, Howson could be the one to come in. Nottingham Forest against Aston Villa. What's the latest from Nottingham Forest?
Yeah, little of note. Nuno was asked about the latest team news, and he got through 4 assessings. He mentioned assessing 4 times in about two
Yeah.
sentences. No big issues, he said. They do have Danilo and Sangari out. Danilo's been back in training for a little while, but I think they're taking their time with him. Solly March style. And they do have one fresh player unavailable. It's not injury, it's ineligibility. Alex Moreno, he can't face Aston Villa because he's on loan from there.
Okay, rightio. And as for Aston Villa, yeah, Ollie Watkins, is he going to start or not?
Yeah, we're not sure on this one because Emery was not too much help. He said yesterday was just a recovery day after the Champions League, and today they're going to train. And if he's training
Okay.
normally, if he's feeling good, he's going to be available.
Yep.
If not, not. That's what
Okay,
Emery
right.
said. Those were his words. So
Rightio.
obviously the flag stays on. A little bit of a doubt there. Elsewhere, he said much the same as other injuries. He said they're still assessing. Rams is going to be out for weeks yet. Bailey, we think similar hamstring injury. He missed out again against Leipzig. But Anana came back on Tuesday.
Rightio. So that Ollie Watkins line there that answers Khaled's question in the live chat. Is Watkins a good choice this week? Possibly not.
Yeah.
So and Sukan in the live chat asked if I've been to any Cheltenham games lately. I have not, unfortunately. Just haven't had the time. Myself and my son, who lives in Cheltenham, haven't been able to go. So the Robins have missed out on us, and we've missed out on the Robins. Brighton against Crystal Palace. The only derby that matters, the M23 derby. They meet in Peace Pottage sometimes and have a lovely slap-up breakfast at the motorway service cafe there, and then it all kicks off. Brighton against Palace. What state are the Brighton in for this glamour clash?
Well, forget the flags you might see on FPL because I can go even more specific on these players' chances of featuring, thanks to Fabian Hertzler.
Yeah.
So he gave us percentages. This was
Ooh.
very, very helpful of him. So firstly, Veltman, he said, was 50-50, and they're going to have to wait the next few days. Hinchelwood was 40-60. Kadioglu was 20-80, and Milner was 10-90. So I think in descending order of unavailability,
Okay.
Veltman's got the best chance of those four, but he's still not a
Yeah.
definite.
Okay.
Solly March, he did say was closer, so he's pushing to be an option for the squad. We just have to decide whether it's too soon or not. I didn't see an update on Adam Webster. Maybe he was I don't know 5.95. Who knows?
Yeah.
And I think that's it.
Okay, rightio. Yeah, sounds like Veltman could possibly start, but I'd be very surprised if any of the others do, given those percentages that he kindly has given us. As for Palace, they could be without Adam Wharton, which would be good news for the Brighton attack.
Yeah, they have been for a while, but he was penciled in for a return here. Actually, he was set to train this week, but he has had a little bit of a reaction to the training sessions after groin surgery. So they're going to reduce his workload, and he's not going to be available for this one. Frank is still out. Ward is a doubt with a calf injury, probably will miss out. But Glasner said everyone else was fit. Chadi Riyad, who has been out for a long time, he got through 45 minutes for the under
Okay.
21s in midweek.
Righty-o. Meanwhile, there is another derby, not as exciting, but there's what's it called? Manchester derby. City against United. What state are City in as they head to this? Not really a derby. It's more of a rivalry.
Yeah, the London-Manchester rivalry.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
Manchester rivalry.
yeah. Yeah, not in a good state actually, Joe. City. It doesn't look like Akanji's going to be fit, or Stones, or Ake, and of course Lewis is suspended because Pep talked about having only 3 defenders fit, which will be Walker, Gvardiol, and Ruben Diaz. He does have Simpson Busey as well, but he did discuss possibly playing a winger at fullback, or playing Nunez at fullback, or maybe playing 5 at the back, or have wing backs as winger. So he was reeling off a whole list of possibilities for how he's going to compensate for the lack of defenders. So on top of Akanji, Stones, and Ake and Lewis, they've still got Bob and Rodri out. They did get back Foden and Kovacic in midweek. Neither of them
Okay.
played. They were on the bench. And I think before the game, Pep said Kovacic was not ready for minutes. So I don't know if he's going to start or not. But Foden's problem was only bronchitis, so he's not been injured per
Okay.
se.
Bronchitis. Bronchitis. Well, these are young, fit people. They've got these Victorian conditions. Kovacic back from consumption.
Yeah.
Okay. And Manchester United. What's the latest with them?
Fairly rude health. I think there's only Luke Shaw who's out. And that's not a surprise. Who's the United Sunset Reece James, really, who's Luke Shaw. Lindelof came back in midweek. Shaw's back in, Evans is back in training as well. So there's only Shaw who's red flagged at the moment.
Okay, rightio. Okay, fine fettle for this one then. Okay, Chelsea against Brentford. So a lot of people, a lot of interest in Palmer for the captaincy. A lot of Jacksons in number teams, and Enzo Fernandez has been the bandwagon of choice this week, which could possibly crash and burn by the end of this weekend, or he could speed on ahead for the rest of the Chelsea's fine run. Chelsea against Brentford. What's the latest from Chelsea?
We didn't get much team news from Maresca, and this was a new one from me. Normally, when teams play in Europe, they'll do a post-match presser after the Thursday night game, and then it'll be embargoed. But I think Maresca filmed this Game Week 16 press conference on Tuesday, which is before the Europa League game, because
Oh,
Conference League game, because they had such a long flight back from was it Kazakhstan,
yeah.
16 hours or so. I don't think he's had time to do any sort
Okay.
of presser. So I think this was filmed on Tuesday, the Game Week 16 presser. So
Oh.
nothing in the way of team news. Fafana and James that we know are out. Mudryk was ill last weekend and then didn't feature on Thursday, so he's obviously still a doubt. And we do know that Pedro Neto is banned for, again, yellow card accumulation. We're not expecting too many injuries because all the regulars were rested on Thursday.
Okay.
He took not even the B team. I think it was the C team he took on
It was.
Thursday to Kazakhstan.
I hadn't heard. I mean, I knew of some of the players. I had not heard of half of them. I've never heard. I thought
think
they
there
was
was
just made up. I thought they were just made up random letters just thrown together.
Championship manager Regens or something. Or
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know there was a Raksaki in Chelsea. I knew there was one at Palace, but I didn't
Yeah.
know they had a Raksaki as
Yeah,
well.
I
Well,
thought
there
it
you
was.
go.
I thought it was a meal. Anyway, so
Yeah,
Brentford.
so Brentford. Who are they playing again, Joe? Can you remind me? I completely lost it.
They played Chelsea. They were playing Chelsea's A
Chelsea.
team.
Yes, sorry, I've lost the plot there.
Brentford are playing
Deary
Chelsea's
me.
A team. We were too busy talking about Chelsea's C team, which is basically a completely different side to even the B
Yeah.
team. But yeah.
Yeah, I
Brentford.
wonder where the C team would finish. The B team would probably finish halfway at the Premier League, or maybe the C team would struggle.
Yeah.
But yes, Brentford, they are missing some of their A team. Matthias Jensen being one of them. He was earmarked for a return, but it's still going to be another couple of weeks for him. Similar with Nunez, so he had come back from a stress fracture in his back, and he'd played, I think, behind closed doors game or maybe a friendly, but he hasn't. It's had a little setback, I think, and it's going to be a while for him. It hasn't healed as well as they hoped. De Silva, Henry, Hickey, they're all out as well. They should get Janelle back. He missed out last weekend with a little injury. And Christopher Ayer, who was a substitute last weekend, is ready to start according to Frank. So there's a possibility that they go with 5 at the back this week.
Okay.
And there's also a possibility that he displaces Vandenberg at some point. But we'll wait and see on that one.
Okay, moving on, Southampton against Tottenham. Yeah, there have been defensive problems at Southampton recently, and there definitely are at the moment at Tottenham. Let's go with the home side first, though. What's the latest from Southampton?
Yes, let's have a look. Yes, two players back, Onuachu and Jan Bednarek, to bolster the back line in the latter's case. Ramsdale's nearly fit, but not quite for this one. I think Martin said yesterday, possibly for the Liverpool game, which is the EFL Cup match. And then if not, the Fulham game in game week 17. We didn't get an update on Smallbone and Lallana, who should be close-ish. Lario Stewart, Bazunu are out, and Jack Stevens is still banned.
Okay, rightio. And as for Spurs, now we saw, surprisingly, Romero and Van der Ven back against Chelsea. Are we likely to see them back this weekend?
Not unless Ange really rushes them back, because they are definitely out.
Right.
For the next period of games, Ange said earlier this week. He didn't have any more news today when he was asked by a journalist in his presser, and he says they're just waiting for the injuries to settle down, and that'll be a prognosis probably next week sometime with those two. Still missing Davis as well, who's another centre half option. He's probably going to be back before the end of the year. Vicario, Richarlison, Audebert still injured. Mikey Moore, we think, still ill as well with a virus. Bentancur's banned. Basuma's banned. But Johnson is at least fine because he was ill. He came off last weekend against Chelsea.
Okay.
But he recovered to feature against Rangers.
Right. Who's likely to be their centre-back pairing then?
Archie Gray, probably, and Dragosan.
Okay.
Makeshift.
Rightio. Okay, well, Archer and co might be fancying their chances then against Tottenham. Final game. When's this? Monday. Bournemouth against West Ham. Wow. I mean, Bournemouth have been in attacking form. West Ham a bit better, but this has all the hallmarks of a really boring game. I don't know why I think that, but anyway. What's the latest from Bournemouth, in particular one of their defenders? I think we've got a bit more information about that.
Yeah, hence the reason why we're both in the market for that 4.3 million defender. Senesi is going to be out for a long time, possibly 3 or 4 months. He had a quad injury, I think it was, and he's undergone surgery this week, so he's going to be out for a significant period. They've lost Tavernier as well this week. He suffered a hamstring injury in game week 15, not as serious as Senesi's, but still weeks. And then they've got the longer term ones as well, existing ones, Sinistera, Scott, and Araujo as well.
Okay. Meanwhile, West Ham. Now we know that Mikel Antonio is out absolutely long term, and hope he comes back. But it may not be he may not come back for West Ham following his car accident. But what else is happening at West Ham?
As well as Antonio, they've got Emerson Palmieri out. He is yet another one who's collected 5 bookings this season, so he misses out on Monday night. Other than that, Lopetegui, as he's done a couple of times this season, he's just hinting at issues without naming names. So he said they had 2 little issues in the last few days they're going to make a check on. Whenever he said this previously, they've been fit. I haven't noticed anybody actually missing out. Right, Fulkrug's back. He returned to the squad, I think, in the last week or two. And Moore, I think, bench duty awaits him, even though Antonio is out. So probably born through the middle, I think.
Okay, rightio. And let's see if we can round up most of those there. So, I had to get a bigger table for this one. A lot out. A lot of that is due to these suspensions that are starting to kick in. There could be some more. We've got Jackson, 8 Nori, Rogers, quite a few others on 4 yellows at the moment. So there might be. I might keep the length of this out column for next week. Right, available. Keane, Bednarak, Kovacic, Foden, Evans, and Aya. They're all available. Questionable. Veltman is 50-50 with a knock. March we might see, but fitness issues could still keep him out. Chiesa and Jota, fitness issues as well, but they could be on the bench even. Gabriel, who knows? Hamstring, muscle. I even heard that it was concussion earlier in the week, but he's been out for a while. He has trained though. If Arteta is to be believed, that's a big if. So he could be back. There, I'm going to chance it and field him. I'm certainly not going to transfer him out. Watkins has a small injury that may see him miss out. Major doubt. Ramsdale's hand problem's still going to keep him out, but not quite out. Korioglu, very, very unlikely he's going to play. Hinchwoody as well with knee problem. Pope has got, I put knee here, but it's actually is it his hand or is it? No, it is his knee actually. Yeah, Pope got a knee problem that could keep him out for a number of weeks. Willock. I've just put Willock. I didn't mean to put that there. I don't actually know what Willock's thing is, but I've for some reason his name has been.
He's got a sore Willock.
He's got a very sore Willock there. So out is there's a lot there, a lot of suspensions there. Bassey and Kearney both suspended for Fulham. Anderson, his calf problem is going to keep him out, and Didi's out for Leicester, hamstring problems. Moreno's ineligible for Nottingham Forest because he's playing Aston Villa. Wilson, hamstring problems, going to keep him out for Newcastle. Senesi's, he's long term, so how soon is now? How soon is now exactly? We're going to get him in. Tavernier, hamstring issues, going to keep him out for a little while. Sarr, shoulder problems there, so Johnson will be in goal. Sarabia's calf problems can keep him out. Joe Gomez is suspended. Calafiore is a knock. He's going to be out if Arteta's to be believed. Romero and Van de Ven, muscle and hamstring problems, going to keep them out. But they'll be assessed a bit later in the week. Basuma's suspended. And Bentancur is as well, but that's a bit more long-term date. Davis, hamstring issues, going to keep him out. Kanji, Stones and Ake are all going to miss out, as is Lewis. So we could see, I don't know who we're going to see. Nunez maybe, Gomez, Kovacic rather. At right back, we might see a 3-5-2 or something from Man City, but basically they're down on numbers at the back. Antonio, of course, that car accident's going to keep him out long term. Emerson is suspended for West Ham. Neto suspended for Chelsea, and Wharton groin issues going to keep him out of the crucial M23 derby. I think I've got most there. Yeah.
I think so, Joe. Yeah, as far as I can tell.
Okay, thanks so much, everyone, for joining us in the live chat here. And thanks, Neale, for all of the latest information there. Any extras, we've got, have a look at Fantasy Football Scout on social media, all the latest tweets there, and also there's lots of articles and predicted lineups as well at fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, so do have a look at those. Thanks a lot for your time, Neale. Good luck with your transfers. Good luck with your Game Week 16. We'll see you again next week.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.